As we know, 2024 and 2025 are two of the biggest gaming years that we've had in a very long time. I mean, come on. Next year, we're literally getting GTA 6 and a new Metroid Prime game, as well as possibly a new Switch model. But this year, we've had some absolute bangers. We had the Final Fantasy game at the start of the year. We had the Elden Ring Shadow of the Urge Tree DLC, which is personally my favorite thing to come out of this year. We had games like Another Crab's Treasure and Banishers of New... I almost said Banishers of New Eden. Is that even the name? Sorry, Banishers Ghosts of New Eden. But then we're also getting a new Life is Strange game this year. But one game that has eluded me for pretty much this entire year that is set to release in October, so in a few months, alongside games like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, which is my personally most anticipated game of a long time. A little known studio named Atlus is making a brand new game that comes out on October 11th, 2024, titled Metaphor ReFantazio. Is that how you say it? I'm just going to be calling it Metaphor. But man, this, I know I've said in a couple videos back to back now that I've been kind of keeping out of the gaming news as much as possible while still trying to make videos about gaming news. I know nothing about this game. So I'm going to be referencing the IGN articles in this video. So I'm not going to link them in the comments or in the description because I don't really care for IGN. But apparently Metaphor is a complete departure from Atlus's original kind of Persona series and a return to form for the roots of Japanese gaming industries, pretty much just beginning as a fantasy role-playing games base and exploring off of it. Did that sentence make any sense? No, not at all. I hate myself. But essentially, about 8 years ago, the Japanese director Hashino, who was behind Atlus and the Persona series, basically announced that he would be forming a new branch within Atlus, a new team, so to speak, because they wanted to do something new, which totally makes sense because even though each Persona is different in its own right, the game at its core is very similar between each installment. And last summer, we got the reveal of Metaphor. Now, maybe you're thinking what I was thinking when I first saw this game. It literally just looks like a Persona DLC. However, that might just be the art style choice because as I've been looking at gameplay, this game looks fucking awesome. Now, like the other games that Atlus has pretty much crafted, this game utilizes a turn-based command system, and it's built around making sure you find the weak points of your enemies. And the main character is an outcast who uses forbidden magic, who honestly, when I first saw this, I thought they just took the same model from Persona 3 Reload, but I think that the main protagonist looks really cool here. Now, a lot of people are saying that this is their most anticipated game of the year because it looks like such a well thought out and designed RPG. And I, for one, am really excited about that. Now, obviously, with the Persona games, you could play games like Persona 5 for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. Now, I don't know how big Metaphor is looking to be. I haven't read anything about it because, again, frankly, I don't care to. But this game looks to be a lot more, I don't want to say a lot more story-driven because the Persona games are very heavy with the stories they're trying to tell. But with the Persona games, you can go off and you can do all these different things. You can romance all these different people. You have all of these different kind of adventures that you can take part in while also doing the main quest of the game. Does that make sense? Metaphor, at least from what I've seen, looks a little more grounded with just the base story and trying to complete that while still having a lot of the same elements of Persona. And I'm here for that. I'm excited to see how that goes. Now, there has been people who got their hands on a few different demo sections, a story sequence, a dungeon crawling sequence, and a boss battle. And from what I can tell, people loved it. Like, there was no complaints about it whatsoever. So another thing that I think really separates this game and can kind of help it step out of the Persona shadow that Atlus pretty much is known for is that this game seems to focus a lot on individuality. I mean, there's multiple times in this IGN interview and kind of conversation that I'm reading here where the creatives talk about how they want the players to feel connected to this story on a very personal level. They also want this game to kind of idolize overcoming limitations that people have, and I think that's something that's really important. I think that that's a great message to give people, especially when playing games. And the other thing too is that this game is not taking place in a modern time frame. This game looks to take place kind of in like a past fantasy world, and obviously Persona takes place in a fantasy world, but kind of up to date with current technologies, and this game doesn't look like it has that. It's probably going to feel a lot like a Persona game, but again, like I said, I'm excited to see how they've differentiated this game from games like Persona 3, Persona 4, and Persona 5. Personally, I've only played fully Persona 5. I've played, I think at this point, about half of Persona 3 Reloaded, thanks to Game Pass. So I'm excited just to see what this game offers for newer fans like myself, as well as people who have stuck through every single Persona game with Atlus. It also seems like Metaphor draws heavily from the 80s and the 90s kind of fantasy worlds, and I'm so here for this because I really think that those are the best times to pull from fantasy elements, especially if they're looking at different anime kind of as inspiration. I'm all here for it. But essentially, this game is a experiment. This game is going to really test to see if Atlus can separate themselves from Persona. I definitely think they can. I think Metaphor looks fantastic. The more I see of this game, the more anticipated I get for it, and it sucks because October is literally going to kill my wallets and my credit cards. But yeah, if you are excited for Metaphor ReFantazio, that's a nope, I'm sticking with Metaphor. If you're excited for Atlus's new game, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear your experience with either the Persona games, or if this is your first kind of Atlus game, I'd really love to hear why you're picking this one up. But yeah, we're gonna start getting a lot more gaming news here soon, and a lot more game announcements and looks at different games that are coming soon, so that's great. I have some older videos planned as well for older games, so thank you guys so much for all of the support recently. I appreciate each of you, and with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.